Hey, so I wanted to make an updated video on how to basically get your printable ready to cut with your silhouette. The first thing that you have to do is open the silhouette cut files. Typically, you will download from Etsy or wherever you purchased, or from my blog, um, the files. And I usually label the folders silhouette cut files, and then you can open them. You shall see that they have the type on it, and it's called the Silhouette Studio document. You can just double click and it will launch Silhouette and open the file for you. So we're just going to go ahead and open a couple. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is check to make sure that you have the correct cutting mat. So it should automatically open page setup, but if it doesn't, it's this first one right here off to the right. It says open the page setup panel. I typically have all mine set to letter, and that I found has worked pretty universally no matter where you live. But you're free to change that to whatever you need. The next setting is going to be cutting mat. If you have a silhouette portrait, you would leave it. If you have a cameo, you'll need to select cameo. There are two, cameo 12x12 and cameo 12x24. The 12x12 is the standard cameo mat, so that is the one you should choose. The next panel is just on the same page setup. It's the last tab here, and you want to make sure that your registration marks are at type 1 for the cameo, portrait, and curio, unless you have an original cameo. This is all you're going to need on this tab. You can go ahead and hit the X and then go to your send page. And you want to make sure that it is online, that your red and blue are the only thing checked. If you have a silhouette cameo 3 or a portrait 2, you'll want to make sure that you've chosen the correct tool. And I have an auto blade, so I'll be choosing that. If you have a ratchet, you can obviously choose that, or a deep cut blade. And it looks like they're both on there. The reason I have these cut lines set different colors is because with the Cameo 2 and Portrait 2 comes standard with an auto blade. What the auto blade does is automatically adjust to the settings that you have chosen. That way, the red line will cut with one set and the blue cut with another one. I like the blue to be on cardstock plain because I want it to cut through completely and break apart into 2 different little sheets so I can store them better. So I actually leave that as is. I don't change it, and it works really good. And because I have the auto blade, once it cuts the red, it will then change automatically to the settings that are set for 3 and 20 to cut the blue line. Okay, so your sticker paper. You're going to want to check and do probably a test cut if you've never cut with that specific sticker paper. It's really going to be dependent on what you use. I find that a blade of 2, I like my speed to be about a 4 and my force to be 8. You want to make sure it says 1 pass. Passes means how many times it's going to cut. If it is not at 1, say it's at 2, it's going to cut everything twice. So you can hit test and it will cut a little triangle out of the top left corner of your sticker paper, and you can peel it up and see how it works. That way you can adjust your settings if that wasn't good enough. The force is what is actually the force of the blade that's going to kiss cut. So you don't want it very high, because obviously the higher the force, the more it's going to cut. And what will happen is it's going to cut into the backing, and you'll have a difficult time peeling your stickers up. However, a tip: if you find that you've cut too hard and they're starting to come apart, you can always tape the back of your sticker paper in, and that will help keep the backing together, in case you've accidentally made, is what I call sticker confetti, where it cut all the way through. So we've gone over all of this. Sticker paper white, make sure it's on cut, choose the correct tool that you have, and the proper settings for your specific machine. So then you can just go up to File, hit Print. Depending on the printer you have, you'll want to select it. You can choose Preferences. I typically use, I have 2 trays, so one tray has, both my trays have different types of paper, so I'm going to choose the tray that I want. The specific paper type is going to be different for depending on what sticker paper you have. I typically used advanced photo paper because I want it to print nice. Then I'm going to go to the quality, and I'm going to change it from professional to maximum DPI, and this is what I use when I'm printing myself. I don't really change anything else, and I usually hit OK, and then I hit apply. That way it saves the settings for my inkjet, office jet I should say. And then I'm going to hit print. It is going to print the page. I'm going to get my mat out, and as you can see, the placement that you need to put on your mat already showing back here. So you'll want to place it like this. Now if you have for some reason chosen to change the page orientation, you'll see that it changed here. That's way you need to make sure that you've loaded the page however it shows you on your mat. Okay, I think that covers all your basic settings. So I know a lot of people talk about cropping. Cropping is something you can do if you want to only print certain things. The first thing that you're gonna have to do is select by color. You'll see a little color palette here. Click this. Right click on that blue line. You can either hit delete or you can go to cut. I want to get rid of that blue line. And then you can right click on your desktop here. Go to select all. You'll want to open the modify panel and hit crop. So what this does is kind of release it from the page. That way you can delete items that you don't use. Say you wanted another movie marquee, you could copy and paste it. You can rearrange things on the page. If you have issues with your silhouette cutting weird or not registering, you can go to this page setup tab and hit restore defaults, because it's going to push everything back to the normal settings, because I do push the left and right insets out to fit more items on the page. And then you can rearrange everything within these red lines. You can also, let's get rid of the blue. We're going to right click, select all, and go to the modify panel, hit crop. You can right click, cut, go back to your first page, paste, and that, oops. You can go to undo if, okay. Well, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's try this one more time. There. Now I can move them around here. And I could probably fit some more stuff on this page. You want to make sure that nothing is in these gray areas, or it's possible that it will not cut properly. Now to get this is a little bit different. You'll go to your send page, but you'll see that nothing is selected. There's nothing highlighted. You'll have to go back to design, right click, select all. Now go to send, go back to simple, and then click cut edge. There's your red cut lines. You're ready to change your settings again for sticker paper. Make sure you have your correct blade. You want to make sure it's on action cut, and you can go ahead and send that. If you have a Cameo that has Bluetooth, make sure that you have your Bluetooth enabled on your computer. You can, if you have Windows 10, you can always type in Bluetooth, well, if I could spell it right, and go to your system settings and make sure it's turned on and it's discoverable. And it's going to show you everything that you can connect to. And then you can hit this little button right down here, click on Add a Bluetooth Machine. This says Cameo 3. I know that it says Desktop PC, but that's what it is. And if you click OK, it will take a couple seconds here to load, but it is going to say trying to connect. The reason why it's trying is because it's not on. So let me go ahead and turn this on. And now it's syncing and trying to cut. So if you click on this little guy right here, you'll see that mine's connected by USB. We want to try and get it to connect. So I'm going to click that again, go back to Add Bluetooth, click OK. Let's see if we can get it to add. This does not work all the time. I constantly have to keep doing this. I don't know why. So I typically don't use Bluetooth, but now we should be able to click on this, and it's still not connecting. But you know how those things work, guys. I don't have like any good suggestions on how to fix the Bluetooth. Like I said, sometimes I can get it to connect, other times I can't. One thing I have noticed is like sometimes it will say checking connection, and the only way I can get it to continue is to turn off my machine, turn it back on, and like reload my page in there, and then eventually it will, oh, there we go. See, you see this now that I have two in here. I don't have two machines, it's the same one. This one's connected by USB, this one is connected by Bluetooth. So that is what I was saying though. The Bluetooth doesn't work as great as I would like for it to. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and ask. I will do my best to help you. It's easiest if you send me a screenshot of this entire page right here. You can do that by typing in snipping tool if you're on your computer, and then hit new, and you can take like a little screenshot like this and then save it, and you can send that image to me. If you're on your phone, or you can also take a picture of your phone. The reason I say this is helpful is it lets me see what settings you have. So if you have questions, make sure you send this page to that page I just showed you to me. You can message me on Etsy. That's my preferred method at this time, but you're always welcome to post in the group, and you can always post that picture as well. There'll be lots of other people that can help you. Bye.